have won the toss. They'll receive to your left. Jim Bakken, number 25, will kick off for the St. Louis Cardinals. A beautiful night for football. Deep, Jerry Levias, obtained from Houston in an off-season trade. And you see Bryant Salter, who is one of the replacements that Sid Gilman is using this evening. He's shaking his lineup up considerably. He's starting two new setbacks. He'll start Jeff Queen. He'll start Mike Montgomery. And as we mentioned, he'll start Salter at the tight safety position. So we're about to get underway, and Jim Bakken, as we look at Jim Bakken, we can remind you that this is the number 2 most prolific scorer active in the National Football League today, and we don't have to tell you the other one. George Blanda, I'm sure he's watching the Oakland Raiders play this San Diego team next week. We're underway. Levias at the 3-yard line. And Levias hit hard at the 15-yard line. George Hoey coming down to make the tackle. So San Diego will take over with good field position. We have told you that their setbacks will be Jeff Queen and Mike Montgomery. Queen, 47. Montgomery, 23. The quarterback, John Hadel, of course, number 21. At one split end is Billy Parks. At the flanker position, Gary Garrison. At the tight end, number 88, Pettis Norman. Garrison now comes right. He's 27. Parks is right, now 32. Garrison out to the left. There's Montgomery. Montgomery over the 20. Montgomery to the 33-yard line. A breaking play for the Chargers early.
A young man to watch all night. Mike Montgomery out of Kansas State. A throwback they feel here in San Diego to Keith Lincoln, who was the last great triple threat back they had in the early 60s. You'll probably see Mike on the option pass play tonight. He is an outstanding passer as well as runner.
The ball at the 38.5-yard line. Hadel brings the Chargers up. 1st and 10 from that point. Just underway here in San Diego. This is Queen on an inside handoff. Queen up to the right side, running into Mike McGill, number 56. Joe Schmeising, the defensive right end for the Cardinals, was also there, 82. Also in that defensive front four, the Cardinals, Bob Rowe, 75, is the right tackle. Fred Herron, the left tackle, he's 74. Number 78, starting at defensive left end for the Cardinals, is Ron Jankowski. The secondary, Miller Farr, Larry Wilson, Larry Willingham, and Roger Worley. Pickup of 2, it'll be 2nd down and 8. The ball at the 41-yard line. Hadel with a quick toss over the middle, finds his tight end, Pettis Norman. Chargers moving into Cardinal territory. The ball at the 48-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Chargers Football Club. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers Football Club and the National Football League is prohibited. The Chargers moving from the Cardinals' 47-yard line. Parks right, Garrison left. Flag goes down as Montgomery takes the handoff. It could be too much time.
Frank had a nice long conversation today with Pettis Norman, who used to be the Dallas Cowboys, and John Hadel. Actually, they're roommates on the road. But you like to see everybody do well, but especially when you get to know somebody and appreciate a lot of things that they stand for besides their athletic ability. It really does help. Pettis Norman came out here in a trade this offseason from Dallas. Fantastic competitor. He's been called a lot of football player and not a very good receiver. And I was really interested in this today. He caught 7 passes against Pittsburgh in one game. Last year he caught 6 the whole season with Dallas.
All right, Don, down remains the same. It'll be 1st and 10 now. The Chargers operate from their 48. The toss, it goes out to Jeff Queen. Queen again with running room inside the 40 of the Cardinals. Bob Rowe moving over to make the stop, along with Fred Herron, 74, Rowe, 75. Jeff Queen, who had a fine game last week against the New York Giants.
Which is why he's starting tonight, Frank. The young man from Morgan State, which has turned out so many, is coming into his own as an outstanding running back.
The ball resting on the 39-yard line of the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll be 2nd down, a long 2. Just underway in San Diego in the first quarter. Both wide receivers, Garrison and Parks, go out to the left. Worley is on Garrison. Larry Willingham is on Parks. Montgomery, he has the first down inside the 35-yard line.
Excuse me, Frank, as I mentioned earlier, I was talking to Hadel. I said, John, what do you really think you can do? And don't give me that same bit that everybody said, well, we're going to run first to set up our pass. He kind of laughed. He said, no, I'm going to pass first to set up my run. He said, no, really, we're going to try to run in the middle and around ends. They play a wide 4-3. We'll try to pick that out a little bit later in the telecast, but they do split those defensive tackles pretty wide, so he's going to try to hit the middle or go around in with his run and hit sharp to feel him out first.
First down on the 34 of the Cardinals. Hadel with the play fake. The screen goes to Parks. Parks slips. He bounces up, which he can do. He's down to the 25. Fumbles the football. The Cardinals have it. Larry Wilson, I believe, number 8. Well, the whistle had blown. There's still some action going on downfield. Miller Farr, I believe, picked up the football. Let's take a look again.
You can see a screen. These two linemen coming out in front. He slipped right there, number 32. And Frank mentioned earlier in the telecast, Billy Parks, one of the leaders. Miller Farr picked it up. Boy, I messed that one up, folks. I'm going to get better. Cardinals have got it. Okay.
Hang in there, Dad.
Here we go. Here we go.
First and 10 for the Cardinals from the 23. Gilliam is flanked to the left. Williams is right. Chargers setting. This is MacArthur Lane. A flag is down. 2 flags now. MacArthur Lane with a pickup of about 7. As we watch the officials, we'll tell you that Roy Shivers and MacArthur Lane are the setbacks. Opening for the Cardinals this evening. 17 is Jim Hart. He's the quarterback. A little under 50% on completions thus far this year. 4 touchdown passes. John Gilliam, the speedy flanker, is number 44. As you see, the official indicating the procedure against St. Louis. We look at Sid Gilman. He came with the franchise here in San Diego. 10 years.
Good way of putting it, Frank.
All right, his first down now and 15. The ball at the 17-yard line. Gilliam left, Williams right. Lane again. Hit by the middle of that defensive line of the Chargers, which we'll tell you is Tom Williams, number 87. 77 is Ron East. Kevin Hardy, number 80, is the right tackle. Steve DeLong, the right end, number 82. We have some changes in the secondary. Bryant Salter is opening at the tight safety. He's number 30. 44, Chris Fletcher is the free safety. On the left corner is Bob Howard. He's a good one. He's number 24. On the right side, Joe Beauchamp. Now from the 23-yard line, second down and 11. Hart flooding both backs out to the left. That'll draw linebackers and it's overthrown.
Oh, Jim just got in a hurry that time. He had his man open, and as you mentioned, they did flood both backs to this one side. It puts a lot of pressure on the middle linebacker. The second back out of the backfield is the responsibility of that middle linebacker. He had not gotten over there. The ball was a little bit overthrown. He's in a pretty tough situation now with the third and 12 call. I would imagine he's going to try to work into the zones. The Chargers are not against playing a zone every now and then.
Out to the left comes Williams. He'll be covered there by Beauchamp. To the right, John Gilliam. He's covered by Bob Howard. Setbacks. Edwards and Lane, both good receivers. And Hart sends them both out. Firing deep for Smith. He can't hold on to it at the 40-yard line.
Draw me. He did come over the middle, too, Jockey Smith. One of his most reliable receivers and been the top receiver. I guess he's behind Bobby Joe Conrad in catches. He's always good for the long gainer. He's got good speed and good size for a tight end.
Fourth down for the St. Louis Cardinals. That will bring on Chuck Lotterette for their punter. Deep for San Diego. Number 25 is Jerry Levias. And Chris Fletcher, 44. Our first punt of the evening, 10 minutes, 26 seconds remain in the first quarter. This is Lotterette. High kick. Handled by Fletcher at the 30. And down goes Fletcher at the 32-yard line. A 48-yard punt by Chuck Lotterette. And with timeout, the score is San Diego nothing, St. Louis nothing.
Norman has a magic shirt. It's a narrow Mach 2 with a super tapered fit and a longer collar.
Hi, Norm, buddy. I gotta borrow the shirt. The shirt's busy. Hello, baby.
Norm, what's the shirt doing tonight?
It's busy.
Hi, Normie. Nice your shirt.
Hi, baby.
Put a little magic in your life.
You and your car get along beautifully until you stop. But step on the gas again and you disagree. You want to go. Your car hesitates for the longest second in driving. If that hesitation is caused by poor fuel distribution, Esso may help. We've got 3 new efficiency gasolines with HTA. Try a couple of tankfuls. In a lot of cars, that may be all you need to overcome hesitation and end the longest second.
John Hadel, who will have another attempt for the San Diego Chargers. They were moving well until a fumble turned things around. 10 minutes, 17 seconds remain in the first quarter. Hadel comes up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10, the ball at his own 31-yard line. Parks goes left, Garrison right. Montgomery with a big hole. Garrison with a fine block as Montgomery spins close to the 50-yard line.
They make it look easy, Don. Sid Gilman said today, just let us get the football. We can move it on anybody. Our problem all year has been inability to defend, especially against the run. If we can somehow contain the Cardinals tonight, we'll move it all night. Let's have another look at it. The youngster from Kansas State, quick to find the hole, swift, driving power, a big gainer. Frank?
1st and 10, the San Diego Chargers, they're on the 49-yard line, their own 49-yard line. Hadel on the quick count, gives it to Jeff Queen. Jeff Queen with running room. Jeff Queen up into there by Roger Worley, but not until he moves to the 40-yard line of the Cardinals.
The pattern so far has been up the middle and around in. They're trying to take advantage of the isolation that, or the responsibility of the middle linebacker, Jamie Rivers, in covering the inside. They've got 2 good offensive guards, Walt Sweeney and Doug Wilkerson, and they come in there and block on Rivers. The outside going to have to get some pursuit from the cornerbacks, both Worley and Farr, come up and turn in the end run.
1st and 10 for the San Diego Chargers. The ball just short of the Cardinals' 40-yard line. Montgomery is up into there this time. Big number 78 moving across, Ron Jankowski. Loss of about a yard on the play. We look at that Cardinal defensive unit, number 53, Jamie Rivers. My estimation, potentially one of the best around. 6'2", 235. Mike McGill is the right linebacker, number 56. Larry Stallings on the other side, 67. The linebacking core on a passing down for the Chargers. Parks goes out to the left to be covered by Worley. To the right goes Garrison. He'll be covered by Miller Farr. Queen out of the backfield and in and out of the hand. Oh, so close is Larry Willingham. Larry Willingham, who has replaced Jerry Stovall in the Cardinals secondary. Stovall out with an injured knee.
The whole game is changing, Frank. Notice how many passes are being thrown to the setbacks this year because of the zones and the variations of the zones, how the wide receivers are being contained much more than in the past.
The reason, of course, being that in a zone you don't shoot linebackers, therefore you do not have to keep those setbacks in. That's why you see so many teams with their setbacks as their leading receivers. Now on 3rd and 11, Hadel puts both his wide receivers, Garrison and Parks, out to the left. Worley on Garrison. Willingham covers Parks. Over the middle to Montgomery. Montgomery hit there by Miller Farr and Mike McGill. Farr, 20, 56 McGill. Close to a first down, but it will be short.
On the ground level, camera, let's take another look at it. You'll see Pettis Norman, number 88, come across the line. He's clearing out a zone. Coming in on the inside is Montgomery. It's a clear-out zone. You'll notice that formation. He had 2 wide receivers to the left. Montgomery came out of the backfield, set this side. It's almost impossible to zone that particular formation. Therefore, they did get man-to-man coverage.
And on 4th and 1, when you're 3 and 5, you can do this. The Chargers are going to go for the first down. One setback is Jeff Queen. He gets the quick toss. He's going nowhere. Ron Jankowski
too good a line to pass up, but when you're 3 and 5, stuff like that happens to you. That might be one of the reasons you can wind up 3 and 5. I like that kind of call. It's Hadel had a great line today. I said, John, how's it going? He says, 10 years in the league, and I'm 3 and 5.
And with timeout, the score is San Diego nothing, the St. Louis Cardinals nothing.
Play.
How much of this, monsieur?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
You have broken the bank, monsieur.
Skittles Scoreball from Aurora, where fun is the name of the game.
Ron Yankowski, who turned back that fourth down attempt, sitting on the bench. He's the rookie from Kansas State. He's a good one. 6'5", 255 pounds, and he's quick. First and 10 for the Cardinals. 7 minutes, 25 seconds remain in the first quarter. The ball at the 38-yard line, the 38-yard line of the Cardinals. Gilliam right, Williams right, Gilliam left. The big man, Sid Edwards, pickup of about 4.
Going back one play, Dandy, when San Diego elected to go for the yard and a half on fourth down, relatively deep into St. Louis territory. If you're going to go for it, why would you call a sweep, as John Hadel did, instead of going straight ahead?
Well, I'll answer that, but let's look at this one before. This is Bob Babbage that just made this tackle. Old MacArthur Lane coming in from his linebacker position, straight handoff. I'll get to that in a minute, Howard. That's an interesting point.
Second down and 5. The ball at the 43. Gilliam moves in from his left split end position. MacArthur Lane moving behind Sid Edwards over the 45, short of the first down.
There's a lot of things you have to take into consideration when you're in the huddle. It's fourth down, and it is early in the ball game. Number one, that's why everybody looks for maybe a shot up the middle. Hadel does not have in the backfield what is known as a real power runner, number one. I do think you run a lot of risk out there. You more often than not are going to see either an off-tackle shot or up the middle, or maybe that fake. I thought he might fake it and throw a pass. I don't know why he did that.
Third down, a long 2. The ball at the 46-yard line. Gilliam is to the left. Out to the right is Williams. The tight end, Jackie Smith, on the right side. MacArthur Lane gets the call in. He gets the first down inside of San Diego territory to the 46. Good block ahead of MacArthur Lane by Sid Edwards.
This Saturday on ABC, folks, an exciting sports triple-header. ABC's Wide World of Sports at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Remember, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Then UCLA against USC from the Coliseum at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Notre Dame against LSU from Baton Rouge at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. This Saturday.
First and 10 for the Cardinals. They're on the Chargers, 46-yard line. Gilliam right. Williams left. This is Lane. Lane inside the 40, inside the 35 is MacArthur Lane, hit there by Joe Beauchamp, the right cornerback.
What a great example of the power that guy has. He came outside with one hand, looked easily brushed off one linebacker, and he came over and ran into the other one. Let's take a look at him again. MacArthur Lane coming in from the inside. Man, that's what you call one of your stiff arms. That was Salter that came up. Again, a great example of power. Unbelievable.
First and 10, MacArthur Lane picking up the first down. The ball is resting on the 33-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. 5 minutes and 19 seconds remain in the first quarter. Gilliam left, Williams right. Hart firing out to his tight end, Jackie Smith, who has it. Smith upended at the 27-yard line. Bob Howard is there, 24. Bryant Salter, number 30 for San Diego. Pickup of about 7.
His early years with the Cardinals, he's very aggressive, and his own players accuse him of being a linebacker finder. They say, you'll catch that ball, and he goes out of his way, seems like to bump into folks. Total yardage so far tonight. As I'm sure you witnessed, San Diego has moved the ball well, and now the Cardinals are in great scoring position.
Second down, a long three. The ball at the 27-yard line. Out to the left comes Dave Williams. Gilliam goes right. Tight end Smith on the left side. Jim Hart all the way at quarterback. This is Sid Edwards. Sid Edwards cutting back for the first down, and to the 20-yard line is Sid Edwards. Pete Barnes, number 59, there, along with Jim Hill.
Just get us the ball, Sid Gilman said. We haven't been able to hold anyone, and right now, you see, apart from the one short pass to Jackie Smith, there's Holloway of the Cardinals. You see the Cardinals doing just what Sid Gilman feared. Rolling on the ground, San Diego presently unable to contain them. San Diego, which has itself blown 2 opportunities thus far.
The ball right at the 20-yard line. Again, 1st and 10 for the Cardinals as they continue to move. Hart looking out to the right for Gilliam. And he has it, and he is inbounds. Gilliam, the defender was Bob Howard. I believe he hit Gilliam and took him out of bounds, which is the completion. When you're in the grasp of a defender, you do not have to come down inbounds with both feet. 1st and 10 Cardinals. Down to the 6-yard line of the San Diego Chargers.
Interesting that the play was made against Bob Howard in the prior 4 games. He's only had 2 catches against him. As Frank noted earlier in the game, Howard is a real good one. His development has been one of the pleasant surprises for San Diego over the past 2 years.
1st and goal of the St. Louis Cardinals, moving from the 6-yard line. The play fake to Sid Edwards, fired out of the flat to MacArthur Lane.
It looked like he couldn't hold on to that one. Hit him in the hands pretty good. That was a fake off tackle. I was just getting ready to mention before, the Chargers have had trouble on defense, which has been mentioned a couple of times. But my old buddy Ron East, number 77, and Tom Williams, number 87, are the defensive left end and left tackle. Ron East is weighing in at about 230, 235. They've got Tom Williams left at 250. You'd expect that if they're going to run to their right side, which would be over the defensive left side.
All right, the stacked backfield now for the St. Louis Cardinals on 2nd down, 6 yards, and this is goal to go for MacArthur Lane. He's hit in there. Bob Babbage, number 60, along with the defensive front line of the Chargers.
Bob Babbage may be the best defensive player the Chargers have. He came up 3 years ago from Miami of Ohio, a brilliant rookie, suffered knee damage in a preseason game, out for the year. Came on, in a sense, as a rookie last year. This year, finding himself, he is one of the really good linebackers around.
It'll be 3rd down, about 4, and we might note that the leading touchdown receiver for the Cardinals, and he gets most of them in close, is Jackie Smith, number 81. The big tight end, he'll battle for the football. It is a passing situation for Jim Hart. Roy Shivers, the 3rd man in that stacked backfield. Hart is going to roll. Irv Goody, 55. Back in the corner of the end zone, number 83 for the St. Louis Cardinals, Jim McFarland, the other tight end who had come in on the short yardage offense.
Take a look. This is the power set. You'll see the 3 backs in the backfield. This is an option by the quarterback to run our pass. Rolling out to his right. Irv Goody, number 55, was in front of him. Got good pressure from the outside there. Just not enough folks to cover him.
Jim Bakken now comes on for the conversion attempt. Jim McFarland, his 2nd-year man, has just scored that touchdown. He's from Nebraska. A promising prospect. Bakken drilling it through the middle. An NFL Monday Night Football, the St. Louis Cardinals versus the San Diego Chargers, continues from San Diego Stadium with the score, the Cardinals 7, the Chargers nothing.
To get the riding comfort of a big car, like this one, but in a smaller, easy-to-handle size, you don't have to shrink it yourself. Not anymore. This year, Mercury brings you a personal-sized car with the ride of a big car. The new Mercury Montego MX Chrome. No wonder Road Test magazine, with over 40 cars to choose from, named Montego their 1972 Car of the Year. About 1.5 feet trimmer than most big cars, this personal-size Montego impressed the road test judges with its big car ride, a ride that comes from a completely new suspension system. Before you decide on a new car, see the one Road Test magazine named Car of the Year, Mercury Montego. Better ideas make better cars. At the sign of the cat.
2 minutes and 49 seconds remain in the first quarter from San Diego, California, on an absolutely perfect night for football. Jim Bakken, who just converted after Jim McFarland took a touchdown pass from Jim Hart to put the Cardinals out in front. Number 25 is Jerry Levias. Number 30, Bryant Salter. Deep for the Chargers. This will be Levias. Oh, and he hit hard down to the 15th. Fred Hyatt really unloaded on Levias.
In 2 kickoffs thus far, Jerry has gotten respectively to the 13 and 15-yard lines. Let's have another look at this. And Jerry, of course, is one of the most dangerous and exciting kick runners in the game. When you can break through and contain him like that, you're inevitably going to keep the other. Look at that tackle. Brilliant tackle by Hyatt. Hard, crushing. Done in the old cowboy manner when Dandy was at the helm.
1st and 10 for the Chargers. They'll move from the 20-yard line. Out to Garrison. Miller far, cannot get him down, but he does get him out of bounds. A pickup of about 4 yards for Garrison. Jerry Levias, who has been benched by Billy Parks after a couple of fine years with the Houston Oilers.
If I'm not mistaken, he's only caught 1 pass this year, and that one was for a touchdown.
Against Kansas City on the opening day when everything seemed so promising for these Chargers. Now from the 19-yard line. Hadel having trouble with his setbacks. Both shift. Something is wrong, and the veteran Hadel says, I don't want to run this play when you guys are mixed up. Jeff Queen and Mike Montgomery both bouncing around back there.
That happens a lot, Frank.
You know, Dandy, Betty Davis is something of a legend. She's also some kind of woman. Get to know her when Betty Davis visits Dick Cavett for a special 90-minute interview on the Dick Cavett Show Wednesday night at 11:30, 10:30 Central Time here on ABC. And another quick reminder, too, about our college football doubleheader this Saturday. Wide World of Sports goes on at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Get that. And after that one, USC against UCLA, and then the game from Baton Rouge, my friend.
You're saying that on purpose, Howard, just to correct yourself from a couple of weeks ago.
Moving from the 19-yard line on 2nd down. The ball goes out to Montgomery. He can pass. He's going deep for Garrison, and he has it. Garrison inside of Cardinal territory. Larry Wilson was there, number 8. But Montgomery, who threw for a touchdown last week, is connected again. He's now 3 for 4 as a passer.
That's exactly what we advised you of at the very top of the game. Watch this young man on the option pass plays, one of the best to come along in a long time at this. Take it, Dandy.
Well, we'll just take a look. It's a quick pitch. You'll see the lineman going out in front of him. Great pursuit coming up there. That was not Wilson's man necessarily. He's playing the strong safety. It was out to the wide receiver. Free safety. Willingham actually is to come over and take care of that area.
31-yard pickup. 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Moving on the 48 of the Cardinals. Hadel with the screen pass. Jeff Queen. Queen running hard inside the 35 of the Cardinals.
Beautifully executed screen pass. You saw Hadel at the beginning of that play fake a screen to his left. Very calmly or casually, more accurately, professionally, come back and throw to Queen. Hadel is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I like the way he runs the team. You'll see it. Watch the fake there. Comes back, gets good pressure from the defensive line, flips it out to Queen. This play was really well set up.
They really moved the football. 2 prior times they moved it beautifully. The first time a fumble stopped them. The second time they had a yard and a half to go for a first down and didn't make it.
1st and 10 Chargers on the 34 of the Cardinals. Parks right, Garrison left. Montgomery with the football with a big hole. Montgomery dropped by Heron, but inside the 25-yard line of the Cardinals. Well, Sid Gelman has really shaken up his offensive unit, even though they were number 1 in the AFC. Mike Montgomery is a new starter. On the bench is Mike Garrett and Leon Burns. They had been the starters for the Chargers. Jeff Queen is also there, and you understand why. They're both running hard.
You know, we spent a lot of time trying to make this game sound pretty doggone complicated, but that last time I think he actually slipped. He was supposed to go outside. As he slipped, he came back on the inside because the Cardinals were in great pursuit.
Second down, a long two. The ball at the 26. Montgomery gets the call. Close to the first down. He has it. Moving behind Doug Wilkerson. His left guard and Terry Owens is Mike Montgomery for the first down. Schmeezing, 82, at the bottom of the pile, along with Bob Rowe. Clock moving. 20 seconds remain in the first quarter. Cardinals out in front, 7-0. Hart hitting Jim McFarland on a 3-yard touchdown pass. First and 10 Chargers. Moving on the Cardinals' 22-yard line. Garrison and Parks. Garrison 27, Parks 32, come to the right as the gun goes off. And that is the end of the first quarter with the score, the Cardinals 7, the Chargers nothing.
Announcing famous Zenith Chromacolor TV in a new 16-inch portable that outcolors, outbrightens, outdetails, and outperforms every color TV its size. Its chassis is handcrafted. Its patented picture tube fully illuminates every color dot on a black background to bring you the picture that outcolors, outbrightens, outdetails, and outperforms every color TV its size. New portable Chromacolor TV. Only Zenith has it.
Esso asks, does your car suffer from hesitation? For instance, when you really give it the gas, does your engine seem to sag momentarily? That's hesitation. Or does it ever feel like gusts of wind are hitting you head on when there isn't any wind at all? Esso has now improved all three of its gasolines. These improved gasolines can help eliminate the cause of hesitation, and that can result in smooth performance and good mileage.
I'm Bob Howard of the San Diego Chargers. That's the way I like to crack down in action. I'd like to rack up the drug problem, too.
At the start of the second quarter, we look at Jim Hart, who has put his Cardinals out in front of the San Diego Chargers here in San Diego, California. First and 10 for the Chargers. They will move from the Cardinals' 22-yard line. Garrison right, Parks is left. Montgomery gets the call. He bobbled the football, but he also makes the recovery. That'll tell you the story of this football game thus far. San Diego, although trailing by 7 points, have amassed 159 yards as Don Hadel has moved this team up and down the field. They risked a shot on 4th and 1 in the early going. They missed, and St. Louis converted that into a touchdown. Second down, now 11. Garrison goes out to the right, covered there by Miller Farr. Out to the left, Billy Parks, covered by Roger Worley. And Montgomery gets the call. He's thinking about passing, and he overthrows Jeff Queen. Mike Montgomery. He's big, too. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Shows a lot of promise. Kansas State.
Larry Stallings, number 67, the most seasoned veteran linebacker that the Cardinals have. You'll see he was checking in for the end sweep. Saw the possibility of a pass. Alertly came back, was at least in the area.
All right, it's third down and 11 for the Chargers. Chuck Deigo comes in as one wide receiver. Take out the tight end, Pettis Norman. Hadel screening to Montgomery. Mike McGill makes the stop, pickup of about 5 yards. And it will bring on Dennis Partee, the place-kicking specialist for the Chargers on 4th down.
His kicking has improved enormously, Frank, ever since he started taking lessons from George Blanda.
And he has not missed this year from inside the 30-yard line. Dennis Partee.
From Southern Methodist.
Well, he is kicking from inside the 30 at about the 29 and a half. John Hadel doing the holding. Flag is down. Should it go against the Cardinals, I don't believe it would be enough yardage for a first down. We'll wait for the call.
If they went for that fourth down a while ago, they could go for this one too, Frank. It'll put it down there with, I'd say no more than a yard. See what they are going to do. See Pettis Norman up there, number 88. Another credit to Pettis. I mentioned earlier, as he came out, going to prove to make this ball club. They were in two-a-day workouts for almost 7 weeks, and the thing was over. He not only made a position on the team, was voted by his teammates as one of the captains, which is a real credit, and it's one of the things that I think means a lot to the individual player, when his own teammates say, hey, you know, man, they decided to take it. They decided to take that 3.
Always take the points, I guess. And with timeout, the score is the St. Louis Cardinals 7, the San Diego Chargers 3.
Some people love cola so much they can't stop drinking it. And for them, there's RC. With RC, you get a great cola taste that's easy on the syrup, easy on the gas. So it doesn't feel like too much. Right, OJ? RC. A great cola taste that's easy on the syrup, easy on the gas. For people like O.J. Simpson, who can't stop drinking cola.
Be an old smoothie, be an old softy. Your beard's like putty in the hands of a cream like me. I'm a rich shave cream, #1 shave cream. I'll shave you clean and close, try and see.
Gillette Foamy, you sure shaved me clean and close. Now I'm an old smoothie.
Lemon lime.
Menthol.
Surf spray. Regular. Foamy.
7-3. The Cardinals over the San Diego Chargers. 13:36 remain in the half from San Diego, California. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith. You're looking at Mel Gray, awaiting the kickoff of Dennis Partee. And that's Larry Willingham. High kick. Willingham will field the ball at the 5. Willingham is completely turned upside down at the 25. Lee Thomas making the stop.
They're smart to kick away, incidentally, from Mel Gray. Not that Willingham isn't a good returner, but let's take another look at this. Larry Willingham, the youngster from Auburn. And he is upended by Mr. Thomas like you wouldn't believe. Lee Thomas. I'll have more on Mel Gray in a moment because he's worth talking about.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. The ball on their own 20-yard line. Dave Williams comes out to the right. Out to the left is John Gilliam. Goes backs out. Fired out to Gilliam. Complete over the 25-yard line at the 26. Beauchamp, number 40, is there.
At some point in the game, you may see Gray in there as a wide receiver. He was used against the Giants earlier in the season and broke 2 against Willie Williams. As I said, brilliant sprint speed, 9.2 for the 100. Was in Santa Rosa High School in California. Went down to a track meet against a high school here in San Diego. Scouting him that day was Dan Devine, then the coach of the University of Missouri. On the sidelines there, Larry Willingham of Auburn, the guy who got upended by Lee Thomas. But in any event, that was the day Devine signed Mel Gray to a letter of intent from Missouri.
Pickup of 6 yards for Gilliam on 2nd down. Sid Edwards running into trouble on the right side. He gets away and up to about the 30-yard line. Sid Edwards with a good second effort. Bob Babbage moves over from his middle linebacking position. And Sid Edwards appears to be shaken up.
He was hit first by Steve DeLong for his defensive end position. He came back and slowed him down. Almost for a loss. The Cardinals do have great running backs. They have had, as we mentioned in the early part of the show, difficulty breaking them this year, but Sid Edwards is certainly a guy who can carry his share of the load.
Second effort by Sid Edwards gives the Cardinals a first down. Moving now from their own 30-yard line, Johnny Rowland has replaced Sid Edwards. MacArthur Lane behind the block of Rowland. Lane scrambling to about the 34-yard line. Beauchamp is there. Salter comes up from his safety position, number 30, making his first start tonight as a Charger. Defensively, you're looking at number 66, Rick Redmond of the Chargers. And Edwards is shaken up. He broke a tackle, picked up 4 or 5 more yards and the first down, and he was really shaken up. He was hit by Bob Babbage on the sidelines moments ago. Now from the 34-yard line on second down. Hart firing out to the far side, rather Johnny Rowland, who could not find the handle. Bob Babbage, 60, the middle linebacker, moving over.
He's not too pleased with that one.
That'll bring up 3rd and 6 for Jim Hart.
He never has had the career that was expected of him, Johnny Rowland. During the Pro Football War, he was a great one playing defensive back for the University of Missouri. Drafted by the Cardinals and by the Jets in the bidding war, the Cardinals won it. They thought he'd be a great running back. It hasn't yet proved out.
On 3rd and 6, Gilliam goes left, covered there by Beauchamp. To the right, Williams. He's covered there by Bob Howard. Tight end, Jackie Smith, breaking loose, both backs out. Gilliam splitting the zone between Beauchamp and Fletcher, incomplete.
That one had some possibilities. Gilliam had worked himself in a pretty good position there.
Bob Hallway, in his rookie year as head coach, has been coaching all of his life, except for 1 year when he became a play-by-play announcer for the University of Michigan. Chuck Lotterette comes on to punt for the Cardinals. Levias and Chris Fletcher are deep. Levias 25, Fletcher 44. Lotterette averaging a little over 39 yards thus far, and he will run. Now he'll kick. Beautiful maneuver by Lotterette. And the fair catch at the 18-yard line, a 47-yard punt by Lotterette, who was thinking about running that football. And with timeout, the score, the St. Louis Cardinals 7, the San Diego Chargers 3.
It's exactly what you'd expect from Sweden. A different kind of tobacco. Borkum Reef. It's a bourbon flavor smoke. A softer, milder smoke. Borkum Reef. It's another thing that Swedish women like about Swedish men.
That was terrific, Orville. When are you going up again, Wilbur?
Never.
Don't say that. Listen, I see a day when there'll be planes and airports all over the world. And in every airport, there'll be a little yellow and black Hertz horse. I see a day when people won't have to spend half of their vacations driving. They'll be flying in your planes and riding in my Fords.
You should see an eye doctor.
Indeed, they tried again, and the rest is history.
11 minutes and 22 seconds remain in the half from San Diego, California. Chargers trailing the Cardinals 7-3. 1st and 10, San Diego. They'll be moving from their own 17-yard line. Now both wide receivers for the Chargers. Garrison and Parks go out to the right. Mike Garrett has moved into the backfield. That's Garrett being moved around by quarterback John Hadel. Going for Parks, and he's knocked off his feet, running into Larry Wilson deep downfield.
Nice to see Mike Garrett in there, an old friend of Frank's, USC fellow alumnus, broke all of Frank's records. But Frank, did he have to do it all in one game?
He did. Great little player, Heisman Award winner.
Having a good year, as a matter of fact. The fact that he didn't start tonight doesn't detract from the fact that he's been averaging 4.6 yards per carry and has 22 pass receptions. Tough cookie. Scored the Chiefs' first touchdown, the Super Bowl victory over the Vikings. A sucker play when Mo Mormon executed the key block.
Fantastic recall. 2nd down now for the Chargers. Hadel going for Garrison, and it's almost picked off. Miller Farr defending against Gary Garrison.
Miller had him covered that time, man. I tell you, it was a great move to the inside. Miller was right with him. The ball was possibly a little bit behind. Good coverage over there. Let's take a look at it again. Hadel comes back, drops. Sees Pettis go to the middle. You can see Larry Wilson, number 8, from his strong safety position. I would say it was a type of a zone because Larry, playing the strong safety, ordinarily would go with Pettis Norman, as you saw come across the early part of your screen. The different combinations of zones are so many varied now that I can't keep up with them.
All right, it's third down now. The passing down for John Hadel from the 17-yard line. Parks is left, Garrison to the right. Everybody out. This is Parks. Parks to the 37-yard line, tackled there by Mike McGill and Larry Stallings.
Super
First
move by
down.
Parks, and also good timing. Roger Worley, as we mentioned many times, is an excellent defensive cornerback. He had Parks man for man. Parks came down. There's a Cardinal injured on that last play.
They're trying to identify the Cardinal who is down. McGill was in on the tackle.
Let's take a look at that last play while we're getting some attention from McGill. You'll see Hadel go back, reading the secondary, turning and firing. Once that ball comes, just at the time, Parks has come back, made his comeback move. Worley comes up from his position. It's very difficult. This guy's certainly they're about equal in speed, so you see a guy come down the field like that, you've got to give him some room to run in.
And
that
I think
it was McGill that came in there.
You saw McGill coming in and colliding with Jamie Rivers, and Rivers is the man that's down at the 35.
Gentlemen, while we await the resumption of action and the determination of the injury, apparently Mike is coming to himself now. On Thanksgiving Day, the nation's number 1 and 2 collegiate teams will clash head-on here on ABC. Be sure to join us, and I mean be sure to join us if you even need the urging, for the Nebraska-Oklahoma game at 2:30 Eastern Time. Thanksgiving night will feature the Bulldogs of Georgia against the Engineers of Georgia Tech beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Nebraska, Frank, against Oklahoma.
And, of course, next week, SC-UCLA. You can bet I'll be watching that one. And Jamie Rivers now is getting to his feet. He was shaken up when Mike McGill came in on the tackle. Tell you again that Parks has picked up the first down for the Chargers. Rivers is leaving the lineup. Jerry Levias is in on offense for the Chargers. And Jim Hargrove comes in at the middle linebacking position for the St. Louis Cardinals, replacing Jamie Rivers. Quite a loss. Jamie Rivers is really the strength of the Cardinals defense, particularly against the run. On 1st and 10, John Hadel brings his Chargers up. They have the ball on their own 37-yard line. 10 minutes, 42 seconds remain. This is Jeff Queen, and Jeff Queen is dumped. Ron Jankowski, who has made several key plays for the Cardinals tonight, was there.
Kid's playing a good game tonight, Frank. Seems to have come a long way from when we saw him in our second Monday night game of the season against the Jets when they were suckering him from time to time.
Indeed, he was quite a prospect for them. Ralph Kruger had taken over that starting spot, but Jankowski is back in there this evening.
Frank, as you know, on a quick pitch like that, a lot of teams don't even block the defensive end because most defensive ends can't recover quick enough to catch him.
He is a quick one. The Chargers now moving on second down from the 32-yard line. Hadel hiding the ball with the draw fake. Fires to Jeff Queen. Queen over the 45 to the 47. Ron Jankowski on the stop. First down, I believe, or very close to that first down marker.
Well, we've seen a lot of offense by the Chargers tonight. We haven't seen that many points, but they have been moving the ball very well.
We're going to get the measurement. Queen, cutting back, moved very close to the first down. First down.
By the way, Frank, I think we should report, as the first down is pointed out, that Sid Edwards' injury was grass in the eye, nothing serious, and Jamie Rivers, nothing serious, fortunately, just a bloody nose. That updates us on the men who've gone out.
Always glad to hear that. Serious. The ball at the 46-yard line of the Chargers. 9 minutes, 30 seconds in the half, the clock moving. The Chargers trailing the Cardinals 7-3. Hadel is going deep for Garrison. And Miller Farr picks it off. Miller Farr with the interception, moving back to the 27-yard line.
Good move by Miller Farr. The ball was a little bit underthrown. I think Hadel was actually trying to go to this side on a stop and go. Worley did not take the fake. Worley played a Good job over here at defensive cornerback. John neatly turned and threw, and just underthrew that ball, and Miller Farr also had his man covered. It was a great pickoff. Outstanding defensive effort by the Cardinals, both cornerbacks. Miller Farr there, you see, had made that interception.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Ball at their own 27-yard line. Mel Gray is in with one wide receiver. Here's MacArthur Lane. He runs into a lot of charges. Babbage is there, 60. Howard coming up, number 24. And ABC Sports exclusive coverage of NFL Monday Night Football pauses 5 seconds for station identification. There you saw the troubles of MacArthur Lane. Getting back to the line of scrimmage, which is at the 27. Gilliam comes right on 2nd and 10. Out to the left is Mel Gray. The tight end Jackie Smith is to the left. Hart looking for the screen man. MacArthur Lane, he has him.
Could be a good one.
McMillan with a block out in front. It'll be short of the first down. The ball at the 39-yard line. Pete Barnes, number 59, moving over for the stop.
Once again, Babbage, number 60, was in there too, Giff. He's been averaging 13 and a half tackles per game. Miller Farr, the gentleman who made the interception, as you view him on the sideline.
Those half tackles will get you know it? Those 13 were good as that half one that you get in trouble with.
If we didn't say the half, golfer Phil Rogers would have been outraged.
Yeah, he's been figuring those up for us every week.
3rd down, a long 3. Hart brings the Cardinals up. Ball at the 34. Up to the left is Mel Gray, covered there by Beauchamp. Firing over the middle for MacArthur Lane, or rather Sid Edwards, and Sid Edwards can't hold on to the football. That will bring on the 4th down, and will bring Chuck Lotterette out for the St. Louis Cardinals. And dropping deep for the Chargers, 25 is Jerry Levias, and Bryant Salter, or rather Chris Fletcher, number 44, the 2 deep men for the Chargers.
As we await the punt, Frank, a reminder of those halftime highlights. Where did you see that Bobby Douglas pass to Dick Butkus?
And I always knew Butkus could be a receiver. Caught a lot of backs, I'll tell you that. Chuck Lotterette kicking well this evening. Fletcher with the fair catch indication. 37-yard punt. And with timeout, the score, St. Louis 7, San Diego 3.
What we do to Mercury Comet on the test track is nothing compared to what some Comet owners do.
I have 29,471 miles on it under all kinds of road conditions, and it gives me perfect performance.
Well, in the 7 months we drove 51,000 miles. Went through all kinds of weather. Well, it did everything I expected.
Mercury Comet. We believe a small car can only be first if it lasts. At the sign of the cat.
This reminder has been brought to you by Goodyear, makers of the Suburbanite Polyglass tire, the snow tire for tough winters.
There's Jamie Rivers. He's back in the lineup. As Howard mentioned a moment ago, Jamie Rivers caught a bloody nose from his own teammate, Mike McGill, tackling Parks. And again, we'll tell you, the Cardinals are out in front of the San Diego Chargers, 7-3. 7 minutes, 17 seconds remain in the second quarter. Mike Garrett and Jamie Rivers on the stop. Pick up of about 2 or 3 yards for Mike Garrett.
The Cardinals ahead 7-3. We're going to look at Rivers making this tackle now. Number 53, moving in behind the blockers and dropping the runner. But San Diego has been utterly dominant in yardage gains. 192 yards to 87 for St. Louis.
From the 32-yard line, Parks is sent left, covered there by Worley. Out to the right. Garrison. As Hadel looks for the screen, this is Jeff Queen. He'll go nowhere. Larry Stallings on the stop. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a slight loss. So Hadel now will be faced with the third down. As we look at the Cardinals bench, Freddie Hyatt, number 88, John Gilliam with that great speed. Think of the John Gilliam. He broke into pro football, returning a kickoff for the New Orleans Saints the first time the Saints ever had the football, the first time he ever touched the football. Great speed. Third and 7. Coming out to the right is Parks. Out to the left is Garrison. Well, we're going to see a reverse. This is Garrison. Schmeezing. Read the reverse beautifully. Back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be fourth down.
We got to take another shot at that one because Hadel almost made a block. I want to get that one. I sure hope we can run it back a little while I'm hitting to the truck.
You mean our technical equipment area?
Oh, I know they can handle it.
Did you ever
And
throw
here
a
it
block,
comes.
Don?
Watch this. I want you to watch Hadel's block, number 21. Whoops. Now, that's the way to hit him, John. That one didn't go exactly as you planned.
On fourth down, Dennis Partee will punt to Larry Willingham and Roger Worley. Oh, and he gets off a beauty. Fair catch indicated there by Worley. Back at about the 22-yard line of the Cardinals.
Well, gentlemen, next Monday we've got the Packers, who almost, but not quite, tied and even might have defeated the Vikings, losing yesterday 3-0 against the Falcons, who lost a toughie against the Giants. But the Falcons have been a deceptive team all year long, and because San Francisco lost, they're only a game and a half behind the 49ers, a game behind the Rams. Those two meet next Sunday. So we got a good one coming up next Monday night.
And a lot of action right here. The Cardinals leading the Chargers 7-3. They have the football, moving from their own 22-yard line, first and 10. Sid Edwards up into there. Steve DeLong, 82, the principal on the stop. Pickup of about 3. Make it the 25.
And after next Monday night, it's Miami, Frank. The Bears against the Dolphins, which should be a honey as we get an opportunity to view Butkus in his new role as wide receiver.
It's going to be nice to him. We have to meet him down there. He's a little awesome. Pickup of 3. Second down and 7. Hart going deep, looking over the middle. This is Lane. He holds on to this one, close to the first down. Dropped there on the 32-yard line by Bob Babbage. Babbage now, 7 tackles, 2 assists. All right, we're going to take a look at this one.
Talking about our game next week between Atlanta and Green Bay. Notice that son of the preacher man, old Francis Tarkenton, had a good day in Atlanta yesterday. His hometown against his old coach. And just made up his own play and sneaked over there on fourth down and won that one.
Thought you were going to say his old pal.
His old pal?
The Dutchman.
Well, he's his old coach.
I'll tell you, they would have second-guessed Francis all over the lot if he didn't make it. He deserves a lot of credit. A gambling guy and a great player.
First and 10 Cardinals. The ball on their own 32-yard line. 3 minutes, 52 seconds remain in the half. They're out in front of the Chargers, 7-3. Play fake.
Going out to Gilliam is reflected.
Jim Hart, an up-and-down career. He opened for the Cardinals this year, was replaced by Pete Beathard. Now he's back making his 3rd consecutive start for the Cardinals. You know, Don, we were talking earlier. What'd you say? It takes about 10 years before you learn how to play quarterback?
It must, because I quit after the 9th one, and I didn't ever get it down. He has had some real good games. He's had some that haven't been so good. And that's what happens when you play that position right there, wearing number 17.
Second down, we come with the draw to MacArthur Lane, who breaks tackles up to the 45-yard line. Babbage again. I'll correct myself. That's Edwards. Sid Edwards.
Frank, I'm going to take up for you because 36 and 39 look a whole lot alike coming out of that backfield. But let's look at it again. And that's Bob Babbage, the man who's going to make this tackle.
Well, he is a good one.
That certainly is. That's a full-fledged tackle right there. That's not a half tackle. I'm going to give him credit for all of that one.
First and 10 for the Cardinals. They're at the 45-yard line, their own 45. Mel Gray right, Gilliam out to the left. Again, the fake draw to hold linebackers by Hart. Jackie Smith.
There's a hole in the middle there.
Fletcher makes the stop, but Smith moves inside the 35 of the Chargers. The clock moving, 2:52 remaining in the first half. Jackie Smith, 6'4", 235 pounds, and as Don indicated a while ago, he is a competitor. I think you call him a linebacker finder.
No, I didn't. I don't get that straight right now. I heard some of his other guys, some of his real close friends, saying that early in his career he was a linebacker finder. I call him Mr. Smith.
Well, I like it. He runs over most of them.
He does for a fact.
It's first and 10. The ball at the 34 of the San Diego Chargers. The Cardinals in possession. Cardinals out in front, 7-3. Toss goes out to MacArthur Lane. Bob Reynolds with a good block in front.
Lane, the ball carrier.
Lane down to about the 30-yard line.
MacArthur Lane gave him a forearm shiver there, didn't he, when he was coming up to make that tackle? Defensive terminology for some of you folks who may not know what a forearm shiver is just pop it to him.
MacArthur Lane, as you see, 40 yards, 8 carries. Pick up that time. We'll call it 3. Second down and 7. Lane moving out of bounds. Kills the clock. The Cardinals do have their 3 timeouts remaining. Mel Gray moves out to the right. He's covered there by Bob Howard. On the left side, moving in tight, is Gilliam. This is MacArthur Lane. And he breaks tackles moving
Lane,
in
the ball carrier, tackled by Pete Barnes.
They got him moving and got that 2-minute warning coming up here. MacArthur's getting his pants pulled up, getting ready to go. Let's take a look at it again. Quick trapping up the middle, and then he's hitting it.
Look at Gilliam out in front of it. So with timeout, the score is the St. Louis Cardinals 7, the Chargers 3.
You might not recognize me because I put on a few pounds, but I'm the mouse that ran up the clock. Here's why I stopped running.
1:00.
Panasonic's talking clock radio. Touch it, and it tells you the time in words.
1:00.
Panasonic makes a lot of radios in crazy shapes and colors, some with cassette recorders, radios that put you in the center of an orchestra. But this one's my favorite. Hickory dickory.
1:01.
Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Aurora has put together a whole stable of new thoroughbreds. Aurora Factory Experimentals, AFX cars. You really drive them with your pistol grip power stick. And when you get good enough, you'll race them. AFX Power Pack plugs right into the wall for continuous action. You can collect all the AFX cars separately or in sets. AFX sets come with 2 cars, track, power equipment from the model motoring division of Aurora. We're for real.
One of the world's great golfers, Phil Rogers, and you can see he doesn't idolize Arnold Palmer. He has his own hero. Phil, good to have you here.
I love it.
The only man who blew the British Open when victory appeared to be within his grasp, Phil Rogers.
Reason why he loves you, Howard. You keep mentioning things like that.
The Cardinals now moving. 2 minutes left in the half. They lead the Chargers 7-3. They have the ball, first and 10 at the 19-yard line of the Chargers. Hart going all the way. Again, the play fake. Fired out to MacArthur Lane, out of bounds at the 13-yard line of MacArthur Lane. Barnes over there, along with Beauchamp, but MacArthur Lane stops the clock. That play using 4 seconds. Cardinals now going with their big setbacks. A combination of Sid Edwards, 39, and MacArthur Lane, 36. Dave Williams has gone out of the game. Mel Gray is in, along with the other wide receiver, John Gilliam. Gilliam goes out to the left, Gray to the right. Second down and 5. Lane,
the ball
inside the 10 is MacArthur Lane.
Tripped up by Babbage.
Frank, you watch these Cardinal backs with all their power. You wonder why the longest gain from scrimmage this year has been 22 yards by MacArthur Lane in our second Monday night game against the Jets. Last year, MacArthur was busting them for 50 yards and more.
Howard, I've wondered so many years about this Cardinal team. You look at them man for man, they have great talent. You see a Larry Wilson, who has never been in a playoff in 12 years, Jackie Smith, and they're looking now as The yard markers are brought out. It'll be 3rd and inches. And will come the short yardage offense for the Cardinals. Shivers comes in. Once before, they have shown the stacked formation. And that they'll show again. Shivers, the deep man, and the Cardinals stack. 3rd down, inches, the ball at the 9-yard line. Edwards lunging for what appears to be the first down. Sid Edwards. First down to St. Louis. Edwards going over the top. 1 minute and 8 seconds remain. Cardinals with their 3 timeouts remaining. They cannot make a first down from this point. 1st and goal from the 8.5-yard line. Del Gray comes right. Gilliam has moved in tight on the left side. Play fake. Looking for Jackie Smith. Overthrown. Bryant Salter, the 30, covering.
You mentioned before, Jim Hart called when they say a flood pattern, he's sending as many receivers as he can into one area and then rolling toward that area. It gives him an opportunity to really isolate some of the players in the secondary. You'll see him makes the fake to his fullback, MacArthur Lane. We'll watch Jackie Smith, number 81, and he looks to be open, and he is open. The ball's a little bit overthrown. But when you get out on the outside like that, you turn the corner, you've got the opportunity to put pressure on that defensive secondary.
48 seconds remain in the first half. Dave Williams will come into the lineup. Up the middle goes MacArthur Lane.
Going to have to start using some of those timeouts pretty soon.
There we have one now. Jim Hart indicating he wants to go over and have a little chit-chat with his head coach, Bob Hallway. There is the amount of seconds that remain in the first half.
Extremely frustrating for any offensive team to march from one end of the field down to the other, and you get down to the 10-yard line. And again, we've mentioned before, you eliminate some of the plays that you can call for lack of field to maneuver in. But this is really frustrating. It's also a great incentive for the defensive team to hold them. They say, if we can hold these guys to a field goal, some way it does take a little edge off of it. Now, Hart's over there talking to the coaches. He says, okay, I've got to get this thing in here. What am I going to do?
Don, he had Jackie Smith so wide open. It wouldn't be a terrible temptation to come back to him. He's working against a new man back there, Bryant Salter.
I would say so, Frank, and if you possibly can, if you can run the same pattern from another formation, it would also help. Now, a lot of times you see a formation that a defense will key against, and they'll see this formation come up again, and they're a little bit better prepared for it. Now, if you could run that same pattern to get him isolated and yet from a different formation, I think it'd be a very good call.
Which is exactly what the Cowboys used to love to do and still do.
That's what a lot of teams try to do. I guess that's one of the keys to the multiple offensive formations.
From the 6-yard line, the Cardinals moving on 3rd down. 36 seconds remain. Williams is out to the right. Jackie Smith is out to the right. Smith is tripped up out to Gilliam.
And he drilled that one.
Out of bounds.
Oh, that was something. It was a good throw. I'd like to maybe take another look at that one to see what they're doing, because that one's drilled in there in pretty good shape. That's John Gilliam. He did catch it, didn't he?
Joe Beauchamp doing a fine job of covering. He did catch it out of bounds.
Let's take a look at it again. The straight drop back. It's a square out pattern. Zone blocking up in front. And
let's don't get into that again.
Let's don't.
Yeah, not from that angle.
From the 13-yard line, Bakken. Larry Wilson holding. About half a 9-iron for Bakken.
Just like clockwork.
You know, the National Football League dominated pro football for 40 years until the American Football League came along to issue its challenge in 1960. The stories of the new league and all of the leagues in pro football history are told in bright and colorful displays in the Leagues and Champions Room of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. The hall has almost doubled in size in the last year, and the Leagues and Champions Room is just one of the many new attractions. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is open daily throughout the year. Meredith is not yet in it.
You always put things so delicately, Howard. There he is on the sidelines, MacArthur Lane. He's having a good night. What a year he had last year. This year, it's been a little different story for MacArthur Lane, although he is the Cardinals' leading rusher. All right, Jim Bakken is going to kick off to Jerry Levias and Chris Fletcher. They're not deep. They're anticipating a short kick, and Bakken switches up on them. This will be Levias from the 8. Down goes Levias. 35 was down there. Larry Stengent. Sid Edwards on the sidelines, MacArthur Lane's running mate.
They've really contained Levias as a kick runner tonight on those kickoffs. He got to the 13 once, the 15 once, the 20 this time.
Hadel going quickly. They've called the play on the sidelines to conserve time. Fires to Pettis Norman. He can't hold on to it.
Ooh.
That's your pal there, Don.
That's my old partner, I'll guarantee you. Pettis Norman.
He remains what you said he is, an inspirational football player. He may now take lessons from Dick Butkus. Incidentally, watching Butkus make that catch on the ball thrown by Bobby Douglas to beat the Redskins yesterday, and you'll see that play at halftime, of course, reminded me, Frank, of that game in the early 60s, the fake field goal call by the Giants against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Guglielmi pass to defensive end Robustelli for the touchdown, remember?
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
And me.
Yeah.
1 second down. 14 seconds remain at halftime. It'll be Garrett, and he steps out of bounds as the clock ticks down to 9 seconds remaining in the half. Jim Hart on the sidelines. He has his Cardinals out in front, 10-3. He scored in the first quarter on a 3-yard touchdown pass, a rollout, Hart to McFarland. It's third down now, along 7. John Hadel with 9 seconds remaining on the clock. It's always interesting to watch these calls because it tells you a little bit about the personality of the quarterback, too. Prevent defense now by the Cardinals. Naturally, they move into 6-man secondary. Hadel fires out to the flat. That's Parks. Clock ticking down. Shows no time remaining. And there's the gun. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Cardinals 10, the Chargers 3.
This is the new Mercury Marquis. Maybe the best riding car in the world. To find out, we put it up against the toughest competition around, with the toughest jury of experts we could find, 50 professional chauffeurs. They compared Mercury's ride, blindfolded, to a $34,000 European limousine with comparable mileage. Compared them for smoothness, for steadiness, for quiet, over the same course at about the same speeds and driving conditions. The result? 36 out of 50 chauffeurs rated Mercury's ride superior overall to the $34,000 limousine, certified by the Nationwide Consumer Testing Institute.
It's hard to believe, it really is. In one word, I think, would probably the Mercury is smooth. Much better ride, and it was quieter also.
Beautiful. I mean, it's just riding on air. It's a smoother ride. No question about it.
I was definitely riding in the better car when I was riding in the Mercury.
Sometimes a blindfold can open your eyes.
Better ideas make better cars.
At the sign of the cat.
Weeknights, join Howard K. Smith and Harry Reasoner for the ABC Evening News.